The most dangerous man that you can entertain has got to be by far the insecure man. And sometimes he's hidden in plain sight. He's the most charming one in the room. He's so charismatic, so confident at first until he's not. And then all of the signs start to show when you're already bought in. Let's talk about that today, the insecure man, how to spot him and why you need to stay far, far away. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. If you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of relationships. Guys, it all starts from within. If you do not feel right from within, you'll end up self-sabotaging relationships. You'll end up attracting the wrong partners. You'll end up feeling anxious in every single one of your relationships. And if that's the life that you want to live, by all means, stick to it. But if you're ready for a change, my 8-week program may be exactly what you need to get started. This is designed for my anxious attachment girlies who are struggling in dating and struggling finding the one and find themselves in one situationship after the next. Or even if you're in a relationship and you find yourself self-sabotaging that relationship and pushing away something that's actually good for you and healing and moving more towards a secure attachment style. So if this sounds like something you can benefit from, again, hit the link in my bio and apply there. Again, the spots are limited. So if you've ever thought about it, now is the time. I do have a waiting list as well, so don't be afraid to still apply. Also, guys, just one little nugget before we get started. I am releasing a book. I have an official release date, August 8th, Lionsgate portal. I had a dream about this day, so I felt like it was the day that we need to release it. Anyway, my book is going to be specifically for the anxious attachment girlies who are struggling in dating. And I give you guys my own story dealing with anxious attachment and how that played out in tons in my relationships and dating and self-sabotaging and my insecurities coming out. And I work through how to get to the other side, feeling more secure and confident within yourself. Again, it's coming out in August, but if you don't want to miss it, a really good way to stay updated is my newsletter. So go ahead and hit the link in my bio, sign up for my newsletter, pre-releasing it before August days. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's get into the episode, guys. I'm done with the rambling. I've been thinking about this a lot, and this is actually part of my book that I'm releasing. I talk about a couple different, 5 different F-boys and how to spot them, how to vet them out very early on. And I think what I also realize is that all of them fall into one category. And that one category is the insecure man. Well, I guess most of them would fall into this category of being the insecure man. The thing about the insecure man is that he starts off as the most confident, the most charismatic, the most charming man that you can think of until he's not. And then once you've caught feelings, once the script has flipped, then he becomes your worst nightmare and he drags you down to the depths of hell with him. Men will bring you to the level that they're currently at. And if he's not feeling good within himself, he's going to tear you down with him. It doesn't matter how much confidence you have. At a certain point, that person will start to chip away. And the fact of the matter is, if you have caught feelings for this man already, it makes it so much harder to leave. So he knows that if he rushes that emotional commitment with you, if he gives you all of the emotions very early on so that you start to attach to him and you start to really gain feelings for him, he knows that he can play his cards however he wants. He knows that that's when he can flip the script, start being controlling, change his complete personality to your worst nightmare. I'm going to talk today about how to spot that, especially early on, because you want to spot this before you catch feelings, because the moment that you catch feelings, I promise you, it is a night and day difference of a person. Like, this person who thought so highly of you, who gave you compliments all the time, is now starting to make digs at you, now starting to undermine your confidence, become jealous and controlling. And that is a very dangerous game to play. All of the things that he then projects on you, it's like, okay, well, like, let me just put him at ease. Like, and if you're like the type of person who wants to, you're like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I just want to make him feel comfortable because I love him and I just want him to be happy in the relationship. You're digging yourself a deeper hole, because what he's actually doing, he will tend to isolate you away from your friends and your family. He'll tend to make you question your own confidence. And when he's doing this, you're the whole time like, oh, I just want to make him happy. Like, I just want to make him feel comfortable. But what you're really doing is, while he's doing this, while he's isolating you from your friends and your family, he's also simultaneously making you feel bad about yourself. So the small little digs that seem like jokes, little tiny digs that like wasn't really funny. And I do think there's a fine line between like a flirty roast, because I love a good flirty roast, but I think at a certain point, that person who once used to compliment you all the time and all the things that he loves about you, those things that he loves about you then becomes the things that he tries to take away from you. So for instance, he loves that you're confident, you're easygoing and loving. He then starts to pick at those things like, oh, you're such a people pleaser. Oh, you do this. These insecure men love a confident woman until he realizes that he can't control her. And all of those tiny little digs that he's throwing in your direction slowly start to pile up and chip at your confidence. And then you start to question your own taste in yourself. You start to question your confidence. You start to not even really know who you are. And when you do break up, because inevitably that will happen, then you have to rebuild that confidence and remember who exactly you are. It's the fact that you have been taken away from your people, your friends, your family. You've been isolated because this person is making you feel bad, because you want to make him at ease and you want to make him at peace. You end up losing yourself in the process. And I think what ends up happening, especially if you're like an independent woman who doesn't really need anyone, but she wants someone, that insecure man mistakes independence for disrespect. But let's get into some signs that you can tell early on in dating if this man is actually insecure. And I don't know why, I think I've always really been able to spot this from miles away. Like, I can smell an insecure man from 1,000 miles away. Like, something about the way he moves, the way he talks, the way that he shows up, I can see right through it. I want to give you some concrete things that you can really assess to see whether or not this person is actually confident or they're faking it because they want to win you over. So for starters, if he has controlling behavior, any type of controlling behavior, even if it's so small that you're like, oh, it is what it is. Like, I like him, I'll just overlook it, until that one small thing starts to turn into the bigger things. He's seeing how much he can get away with. So it might start off with, I don't want you to wear that. I don't want you posting these types of pictures. I don't want you hanging out with that person. I don't want you seeing your family. I don't want you whatever. And the thing is, when you go against their wishes, they tend to retaliate. They make it 12 times worse than whatever you did. You should be able to wear whatever you want, post whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I mean, there is a certain level of respect that you want to share for your partner. But if he flat out is like, you cannot do this, that's a red flag. It only gets worse. Small things will then turn into bigger things. I remember I dated this guy a while ago, and I think this is probably really the only controlling, super insecure guy that I kind of let him get away with it, because I was just in a like, la 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 la, I'm bored, I want to just entertain something mood. And we first start off, he was the biggest lover boy, so sweet, so kind, so charming, did everything for me. Like, made me so comfortable in his presence, made me tea in the morning, bought me presents, brought my family presents. Like, he did the actual most. And as soon as his feelings and my feelings also got attached, that's when he started to flip the script. Everything became like, oh, so lovey-dovey, until it wasn't. And he literally flipped his personality like a switch. He went from that type of lovey-dovey, like literally my ideal man, to then the most insecure, crazy person that I have seen. It started off with little things like, hey, like, I really don't like that you're like following these types of people. Like, can you maybe like clean it up a little bit? And I'm like, let me do that on my own time. First of all, we're not even in a relationship. So like, you're not going to be able to tell me what I can and can't do, who I can and can't follow. It was like small things like that. Like, I really don't like when girls wear certain things. And I was like, okay, like, I'm noting it, right? But you're also not going to tell me what I can and can't wear. So when I was going out with like friends without him, he was like, oh no, send me a picture. Like, I want to make sure that you look classy going out and not like a hoe. I'm like, okay, red flag. Don't love that. And then it started getting like deeper. Like, I had a trip planned with my friends at the time, and he like did not want me to go on this trip. He wanted me to cancel it. He's like, I don't know why you're going out. And then like started calling me names, started calling my friends names. And I'm like, this is where I'm going to have to draw the line. He started sending me like individual Instagram accounts of guys that I was following that like had unfollowed me, I guess. And he's like, that's so embarrassing that you're following these people and blah, blah, blah. So like, it went from literally overnight, this guy being my dream man to this guy being the most controlling, narcissistic man that there is. And obviously a lot of insecurity came along with that as well, and jealousy and all of that. Always kept tabs on like who I was following, and like, oh, you just followed another person. Like, why did you have to do that? And it was like, okay, you're not even my boyfriend. I know that this only gonna get worse. So we ended things then and there because I cannot be controlled, I think is the thing. You can suggest things that you like and things that you don't like, and I'll make the decision on whether or not that aligns with who I am and my own values and how I want to show up as a person. And if it is, I don't mind making minor adjustments, but I'm not going to change my complete identity for a man that I'm not even in a relationship with, or just in general. I'm not changing my identity for a person at all. The first one is any type of small controlling behavior, because that small thing turns into the bigger things, I promise you. Second one would be any type of micro digs. So if this man is giving you compliments, but then they tend to be like kind of backhanded compliments, and he's never directly complimenting you just to compliment you, it's always like a small dig, or like, oh, why are you wearing that? Or that's so embarrassing. Like, why did you put that on? Or just like small things that seem like a joke, and you're like, maybe he's just roasting me. It's like, it's our banter, whatever. But those small little jabs will start to add up over time, and you'll start to question your own worth and your own confidence. Maybe it's just as small as like, oh, he's making fun of what you're wearing. But like those small things, especially if you don't have an incredibly high self-esteem, those small things will start to add up over time. I remember my last relationship, he would make small jokes and little pokes at me, and towards the end of our relationship, I had become the most insecure version of myself that I had to like pick myself up, completely change the dynamic. But I will say that alone has built my confidence up so much by someone else tearing me down. Now I literally don't care what anyone has to say about anything, because I know who I am and I'm very confident in that. Sometimes you need someone to tear you down so that you can grow out of the dirt. Like, if someone's not complimenting you at all, and every compliment that they give you is kind of like a backhanded compliment, just know they're a secret hater. This can be a man or a friend that you have. If it seems a little shady, it's probably a little shady. Number 3, watch how he's talking about other men. Sometimes it can be as small as like, I'm so much better than him and da-da-da, and he's a peasant and he does this. And especially if he's talking about men that you either used to like, you used to date, or they fancy you. Any man that has some kind of or had some kind of interest in you, watch how he's speaking about them. But not only then, watch how he speaks about other men in general, because I can guarantee, and this also flip side of the coin, this is really people in general. If a woman is talking poorly about other women and tearing them down, because I used to do this back in my day, long time ago, because I was insecure within myself. So I started projecting. But realistically, if you are secure within yourself, I don't talk poorly about anyone. And when someone does, I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, I keep it moving. I don't need to entertain this. And it's nothing that I wouldn't say to their face, right? Like, and the same goes with men. If a man is tearing another man down, if he's speaking poorly, or he thinks that he's macho man and thinks that he's so much better than these other men, chances are he's probably pretty insecure, and he's projecting his own insecurities onto other people. Number 4, competition. If he slowly starts to feel like your competition, and everything that you do, he feels like he has to one up you. It can go as far as you having an emotional moment and him making it about himself and him turning that emotional moment that you're having about him. Like I have had a best friend that we were talking about one of her exes, and she was like having a breakdown moment about like whatever it was, and he started crying and made it about himself. I'm like, that man screams immature. Not only immature, but insecure. Even if you're up and you're like, you're winning, you have some kind of achievement, if he tries to tear you down in those moments, or he's not there for you or supportive, if your wins feel like losses to him, that's not your partner. That's your competition. But watch out for a man who thinks of you as his competition, because he will inevitably feel like he has to one up you at all times. And that is truly not what love is. But number 5, having double standards. If he can do something but you can't do it, I feel like this is like the entire red pill community, and I don't even really like to even address that. I just feel like grow up. Honestly, it's just not that serious. But if you're not familiar with the red pill community, I was talking to a man, actually, he was like in his 60s. He's like, yeah, I'm part of the red pill community, blah, blah, blah. They're so proud of it always. Essentially, he's like, what do you think the red pill community is? And I was like, I feel like it's insecure men who want control and power. And he's like, well, how can you lead without control? I think you can absolutely lead without control. A majority of leaders who are great leaders don't control, they just lead. And I think there's a huge difference, and I think that's where these men have it messed up. Is the more you try to control someone, control the dynamic, control the outcome, control, the more of a tighter grip you have on something, it won't allow that other person to breathe. Allow anyone to, and this is a Mel Robbins moment, let them, but allow that person to be themselves, because you're going to know exactly who that person is when you allow them, when you're like, okay, like a man should just lead naturally. And when you're such a natural leader, a woman will submit to you. A woman will naturally want to follow you and follow in your footsteps, because you're providing her that safe space that's secure, that she can open up and be her full self around. When you try to control her and control the dynamic is when you get these really insecure women to attach onto these really insecure men, and then it becomes this really toxic dynamic neither side can thrive in. So that's my take on the red pill community, but I think there is a way to lead without control. That's really the point that I'm trying to get at, is that when there's this double standard, he can do something but you can't do it, and he makes that very obvious and clear. First of all, that's part of control, but I will say this, if a man doesn't want you wearing a certain thing or doing a certain thing, it typically means that he's projecting, because he does the same exact thing. He's looking at other women when they're wearing a certain type of outfit, but he doesn't want you to do it because he doesn't want other men to watch you. If he doesn't want you talking to other men or being friends with other men, but yet he's friends with other women, it's likely because he wants to bang them and he doesn't want you to have the opportunity to do the same on the other end. If there's a double standard, if he's trying to control the narrative, very good sign that he's insecure. I don't know what number we're on, but we're going to continue. When he needs constant validation, I say this a lot, not in a mean way, but I don't think I could date a man whose love language was words of affirmation. Every time I try, I get the ick. There's really nothing wrong with that. If you need me to validate you at every moment, every single day, every time we talk, you need me to tell you how great you look, how amazing you are, how da-da-da, like, I don't have that in me to keep up with. And especially when a man wants it so bad, I'm a little bit stubborn, and the more that I don't want to give it to them. Like, I want to naturally hype my man up. I am all for hyping your man up, but the moment they fish for compliments, the moment they fish for like appreciation, is the moment that I start to get the ick. And I think really because what it comes down to is the man being insecure. And I think that you can have that love language and not be insecure. I'm not saying that that makes you insecure, but I think the moment they go fishing for compliments, the moment they go fishing for some kind of validation, and if I need to validate them every single moment of every single day, I'm going to assume that you're probably insecure, and I don't want any part of it. I really could go on for days on signs that you can tell that someone is insecure, but I'm gonna leave it there. I will say this one part though, is that if the moment an insecure man gets a girl out of his league, he knows this. And the thing is, he's only getting insecure and jealous because he knows that you deserve better. And because of that, he will end up self-sabotaging the relationship, pushing you away, cheating on you, playing games because he doesn't even feel worthy of having someone like you. So instead, he'll take you down to his level, drag you through hell, make you the least confident version of yourself to the point where you don't even know who you are. He's only insecure because he knows that you deserve better. With all that being said, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you got some kind of value out of this. I have now a home setup. I honestly filmed this at a terrible time because the sun is setting and the lighting is not the best, but next week we'll do better. And again, sign up for my newsletter for all updates, and thumbs up if you got some kind of value. Hit the 5-star rating. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week. And again, I will see you all next Tuesday.